Mayor, I'll call this meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Murder.
Here.
Parker, absent. Schneider.
Here.
Stoops.
Here.
Wilson. Here. Zucasar.
Here.
Zucas W.
Here. Non-agenda items, I had none.
I'd like
Oh, I'm
to
sorry.
make a motion to excuse the absence of Jason Parker.
Support.
Parker, absent. Schneider.
Yes.
Stoops.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Zucasar.
Yes.
Zucas W.
Yes.
Murder.
Yes. Non-agenda items, I have none. City administration, Donna? Fire chief?
I guess the only thing I got is a couple of our members will be competing in the stair climb here at the end of the month. It's a fundraiser for the American Lung Association. They climb the Rensen Tower, 71 flights, 1,035 steps with full turnout gear to raise money for the American Lung Association. So there's a couple of guys going down to do that. It's 28th, I believe, of February, last Sunday.
What are they climbing?
The Rensen, the Renaissance
Oh, yeah?
Center down in Detroit, all the steps all the way up.
777 feet.
So we're still looking for donations to that. There's on our Facebook page, or you can contact us if anybody would donate to that.
What time does that start?
I believe 9 o'clock in the morning.
Are you guys taking a truck down there or anything? Or?
I'm not sure yet. Depends on the day. And then I was newly elected to the Macomb County Fire Chiefs Board here this past month, so I'll be on the executive board for the Macomb County Fire Chiefs.
All right, good job. Right on time. Jamie, was there anything you wanted to talk about?
Yes. Apologize for introducing this at the last minute. This is very simply the new poverty guidelines as established by the federal government. Our policy for the poverty applications is that our income level is set at 1.5 times the federal poverty level. This is just very simply those numbers at 1.5 times the poverty level for any people that, I apologize, that qualify, and I would ask that the City Council adopt these rates for the 2016 poverty applicants.
Pull them on the agenda then, all right? Ready for that?
I think you already got new business number 2 with the actual new business.
Was there anything else?
Yes, thank you. One other thing is, as a part of our discussions in the past about budget, we had software that we acquired on Adobe that would allow us to create PDFs and manipulate PDFs that come in. Originally, that cost was very expensive up front, and we felt that it was less expensive to do that on a monthly basis. So as a piece of information, I told Donna, she wanted me to bring it up to council that we are incurring a monthly charge for Adobe as opposed to buying the program outright. And we felt that it was cheaper and more cost effective as software is always changing and we didn't want to have to keep buying new programs every couple of years.
So that would be divided among assessing, the city clerk's office?
Well, I think that it should come against my budget.
Okay.
I originally asked for it and I wasn't expecting anybody else to take that on. It provides a benefit to other people, then so be it. That's wonderful.
Okay. Any idea what the number is?
Madam Clerk?
Is it over 300?
No, monthly, no.
Like,
It's
what,
like
$15?
$15 a month.
But they do the automatic updates and everything instead of rebuying it every year.
The price was over, yeah, it was over $300. I think it was, I want to say it was, from memory, like 400 plus.
That would be 180.
Pardon me?
$15 would be 180. You said 15 a month.
Right, and like I say, I didn't want to have to worry about the software updates. Taking the hit up front was, we thought it was better not to pay for the whole thing up front.
We don't need a motion for that anyway, do we?
That was just for your information, so that if it comes up during your budget sessions, you'll be aware of that. Or if you're seeing it come through on the bill run, I didn't want anybody to be surprised.
When he ordered his computer, that was on it. So we never paid for that.
I see.
That's why he's telling me.
Anything else?
No, I thank you.
David?
Okay, father-daughter dance set for February 27th. This is the last week for registration. So far I've got between 50 and 75, and that will pick up this week, I'm sure. The Easter egg hunt is set for March 26th, and the way the weather's going, we'll probably be in the youth center for that. I have 10 bands lined up for the summer, which is great. So we got the summer full every Wednesday. So, and you all got a letter on the one that I would like to sponsor. And that's,
Do you still have the bands on the night of the senior night?
no, but,
Those Wednesdays, there are no bands.
no bands on that day, but, the way it's going, I may have to change it for the summer and move the seniors in earlier and put bands in, because I'm still getting a lot of bands calling me. I've got a guy coming in from Ohio to play for our summer series. So it's gonna be a good one this year. We got a variety of bands. And one other thing is, day before yesterday, I got a call from a person for the father-daughter dance. They wanna bring in their new, they just got a photo booth, and they wanna bring in a photo booth and props donated to do pictures for us, so that's a plus. So I told them, yeah, and, that's just, for us to know right now, because I'm not sure if it's gonna actually go through, they tell you and then they don't show up. But we'll see, and that's all I have, thanks.
Thank you. Amendment of the agenda.
Make a motion, we amend the agenda to include, under new business number 1, the Parks and Rec request for funding for a band. And under item number 2, the adoption of the poverty guidelines for 2016.
Anybody have anything else? If not, I'll take a second.
Schneider?
Yes.
Stokes?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Lukasar?
Yes.
Lukastabio?
Yes.
Martyr?
Yes.
Parker absent.
Regular meeting minutes, February 2nd. Did anybody have any questions or comments? If not, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept the regular meeting minutes of February 2nd, 2016.
Support.
As presented.
Stokes?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Lukasar?
Yes.
Lukastabio?
Yes.
Martyr?
Yes.
Parker absent. Schneider?
Yes. Okay, at this time, we will open our public hearing for 2016 Community Development Block Grant allocations. Did anybody want to say anything?
I do. My name's Nicole.
Could you stand up, speak up?
Sure. My name's Nicole. I'm a crisis counselor and a forensic interviewer over at Care House. Care House is the child advocacy center. We're located in Mount Clemens. So in all of Michigan, we're one of the 30 child advocacy centers. So our main purpose is to help reduce trauma in child victims of sexual and physical abuse. So through referrals from law enforcement and child protective services, we work with the families of victims of child abuse. So every year, about 1 million children in all of America are abused physically and sexually. And in Macomb County, those are the people we work with. We opened in 1996. So before then, when a child had allegations of abuse, they would have to talk to a police officer, a child protective service worker, a hospital, the doctors. They would have to talk to a bunch of different people regarding the abuse. Since we opened, we are an agency that's child friendly, where the child comes to us and they tell their story just one time. So that helps to reduce the trauma. So with that said, we work with an MDT to help that, and then we also provide those families with services. So when they come through us, they have an opportunity to reduce the trauma through one interview. We can also give crisis counseling, long-term services. We can help with court prep. We have family support groups, child groups, and teen groups, all to help to reduce the trauma of children and caregivers of victims of sexual and physical abuse. When families come to us, we're nonprofit, so we have no charge. So In 2014 and 15 combined, we provided services to 860 new child victims of abuse and their families. One of those families came from Memphis. And then so far in 2016, we've provided services to 63 new child victims, and we have not yet seen a child from Memphis. We welcome calls from the community. If anyone knows anyone, any children that need our support, any families that need our support, you can always call our agency and we're here to help. Does anyone have questions about Care House or what we do? No? Okay. Well, we're respectfully asking for $300 to help maintain our services. And I'm grateful to be here, and if anyone has any other questions. No? Okay, thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Does anybody else have anything to say about the public hearing?
All I'd want to do is,
Could you stand up, please?
all I want to do is just thank the guys for cleaning up that mess I had over there. They really done a good job.
We'll let them know.
What's that?
We'll let them know.
Yeah. Well, I seen one of them today and I told them.
We love a happy customer, that's for sure.
They did. I was surprised.
We should have a motion to close the public hearing. So I'll make that motion to close the public hearing.
Paulson?
Yes.
Lukasar?
Yes.
Lucas W?
Yes.
Martyr?
Yes.
Parker, absent. Schneider?
Yes.
Stoops?
Yes.
Larry?
Yeah, thank you for coming, and I know that's, you know, I'm aware that that's a good charity, and I know $300 isn't very much. I guess there's always a but, or an unfortunately. We have a ADA project we're working on, and we've been working on it for a couple of years, and unfortunately, our funds that we get from CBG, and I'm sure you're aware of this, is dropped from about $30,000 to $35,000 a year down to $7,500 a year. And even with the project that we're thinking about, it probably could run anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000. And we were, by asking, though they don't do a multi-year contract anymore, because it's an ADA project, they're going to allow us to do that. But even with the $7,500 this year, the $7,500 for 2017, it may not do the project. So if we don't get enough money, we have to take it out of the general fund. So that's my butt. I'm sorry. And I have a memo, and I think you all have it there. And it would be it's open to discussion by council, of course, but I'm making a recommendation that we actually put that towards our project, but it's open for discussion, so if anyone wants to make a comment, please do so.
So the project would be to build the ramp
Yes.
for starters, right?
Yes, what we do is build the ramp, and we probably would do it in 2016. We take money out of our general fund, and then the next year when it was allocated in 2017, then we reimburse our general fund to the amount we have. If it exceeds say it's $7,500 for both years, we $15,000. But if it exceeds that, we'll have to make up the difference. And we don't know exactly what it costs to actually put it out to bid. But I think what we've been we've been looking at this for a couple of years or so, and I think the figure that we actually put in for 88 doors was off considerably. And
I agree with that.
We have allocated, I think, $2,000. I think the door yourself for the Lions Club was over $3,000, and that didn't even include the ADA application on it, which would probably added another $700 or $800. I'm not sure.
Probably more.
So I think the ADA door up at the top of the ramp, I assume is gonna be between $4,000 and $5,000. And I think the ramp will probably be 15, so I think we'll spend the minimum probably at 20. So, so that's, yeah, so that's what we probably do. We probably do the project as 2016 using the 7,500, then come up, take money out of the general fund to finish the project, and then reimburse us out of the other allocation. So that's the plan we're looking at.
Well, I think we've kind of committed ourselves to making these improvements to our buildings, and I think it's money well spent, and I think it's gonna pay off.
Yeah. See,
in the
yeah,
long run.
yeah, and the other thing I know we talked about putting a ramp in or an elevator, and there's plus and minus to both, but the ramp would be, of course, the exterior, and aesthetically, they never look that great. But the other thing that by putting the ramp in and having access to the other gives us ability to exit that building. We do have something at the back, but as you know, that's not acceptable. So this would be actually another safety item if we do, and I think we'd go to the ramp. So anyway, that's sort of my recommendation for that. So is there any other discussions on it then?
If the first 2 years don't cover it, where does the balance come from?
The general fund. We'll have to pay.
And it doesn't get paid back?
No. We were able to do multi-year contracts before, but the only reason we could do it on the ADA project is because it's ADA and not something else. And Bart and I had a meeting there, and we asked them then, and then when they were out here again, we requested, and the sheet's in there as a response to that, so we can do that. Any more questions? Make a motion?
You certainly may.
Okay, I gotta put these glasses on so I can read this, but I'll give you this so you don't have to say it word for word.
Okay.
I just want this motion so it kind of covers everything in it. I make a motion to approve a multi-year allocation of CBG funds for the 2016 and 2017 for ADA handicap ramp and doors at the Memphis Library/Community Center, with the project being completed by December 31st, 2017, by using accommodation of the 2016 and 2017 CBG funds. And this, 2016 CBG and city funds to be reimbursed with 2017 CBG allocation.
Support.
Sukasar,
Yes.
Sukas W.
Yes.
Murder,
Yes.
Parker absent, Schneider,
Yes.
Stoops,
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, Parks and Rec would like to spend $500 out of their operating funds to have one of the bands for the Talent by the River this summer. Pretty self-explanatory. Did anybody have any questions or? Oh, I'm
Do you
sorry.
want to take them out of order or not?
No, I'm sorry. Let's go back to unfinished number one, the fire department wage increases. Robbie?
Yes, we had the fire department committee had a meeting. And we did want to make these suggestions. Everybody got their memo. I don't know if you want me to read them. It looked like our financial advisor went over it too, and doesn't seem to have a big problem with it. It does not create a budget deficit. I don't know. Hopefully everybody looked at it and read it. I don't know if anybody has any questions. We could answer them. We wanted to increase $1 per run for the firemen. The 5 officers, an additional $75 increase per year. And go from 24 hours up to 28 hours a week with increase the wage to $12.50, which is just over $2.12. But that's in contingent as long as the budget is quarterly reviewed. We're staying in the guidelines, keeping a good watch on it.
Just
Do you
like,
have anything to say?
just like Robbie had mentioned, these increases, the fire department is kind of unique in regards to that. We don't have a union contract or an employee contract. At any point, at any time, particularly the part-time position, that position can be decreased in hours, decreased in pay without basically any notice. If the budget looks like it's gonna start going over because we have an increase of runs for whatever reason, we can cut those hours back to whatever we feel the budget would hold. We could possibly even cut the pay back to whatever we feel is comfortable, if the budget shows that we're gonna have and the budget's not gonna be able to hold that amount. So again, a little bit of a difference in, between the DPW, police, and other city employees, where we're not really completely we're held to these wages. At any time, at any point, we can decrease them as needed.
Well, I think the fire committee did a great job with this, and one thing that Justin and I spoke about was the fact that, you know, we are gonna watch it, and, you know, we're pretty confident that we're not gonna be asking for an increase this year in our fire contract. This is not gonna affect that. It should be the same as it was last year, and that's what we're gonna shoot for this year for our budget.
Can I make no comment?
Absolutely.
You all got a memo that I wrote. I would have actually preferred that this had been done at budget rather than through the year. Though I realize there's only about 4 months left in the year, our fiscal year. But I think it was something that probably should have been addressed at the budget. The property tax assessed, and I did talk to Jamie on this, and you can see there that the factor that was 0.3%, which is practically nothing. Though Jamie tells me that property taxes probably is stabilized at this point. But as you all know, the increase is limited by a couple rules and regulations. We had the amendment in our proposal, I believe it was introduced years ago. So we can't expect any substantial increase. It'll be very, very gradual unless there's new investments and new businesses in town, which there happens to be one there. So for all intent and purposes, in order to have a balanced budget for the next fiscal year, I think the expenses on the expenses side is basically going to have to stay reasonably within the limits that we have this year, for this fiscal year. As far as the increase of the dollar, I think it's been quite a few years that we've had an increase in per runs. I'm not sure just when the last one was. Pardon?
4 years.
4 years ago.
That was what, 12 cents?
Yeah, so, and if you looked at my spreadsheets there, you can, and I used the last fiscal year because that's the full year we had, the runs that were paid for, and it's by the number of runs and the number of people that went on each run, and it was somewhere around 2,200. So that's the basis what I used my calculations on. And so I think and if you look at my figures there, that the current budget would probably withstand those increases. I personally would rather see this all take effect at the next year, but I think looking at my figures there, and you have to realize they're all only estimates, and they can change based on the number of personnel you have. I think we got down to about 14 at one time. The lower the personnel you have, the lower the number of people that might show up on a run. I think we're up to 19 now, I believe, or in that area. And I know that your goal is to have about 25, I believe. So the more people you have, of course, the more runs, the more people show up, the more the expense. So, but the wage budget we have right now would probably withstand, and I don't know when you want the effective date on this, but I'm not in favor of doing it at this point, and I think it should be done by fiscal year. but it's up to the majority of council how they want to vote. And
Well-
that's the only thing I have to say on it.
The reason it's kind of right now is, I've been on the fire committee for, I don't know, probably, I don't know if it's my third year or fifth, but, we talk about it all the time, and we push it for another 3 months, and push it for another 3 months. And I know if we wait even, I just don't really see why delay, and then everything is cut at budget time, so this would totally be thrown off, and we'll talk about it later. So, and it's just my thought on it.
Yeah.
It's my opinion.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Right.
I have
And yeah, no, I
no
would
problem
like-
with that.
I would like to see
Yeah.
it for March 1st, yes.
Anybody else have any other comments? Well, I think it's due time. It's something we've talked about for a while, as Robbie said. The good news is that we can control it. We can check it monthly, we can check it quarterly. We'll know where our budget's at, first of the year. As we come around to our budget time next year, and we should have a pretty good handle on what's going on, and we can always change it. We can always cut back the
You might have
hours.
to cut back at budget time.
Right, and it's very easy, we could cut that 28 hours back to 24 or 20. I mean, who knows, we might actually end up, next year saying, maybe we'll make a third part-time position. We just really don't know how many runs we're gonna have and how many people we're gonna have on the department, so. That being said, somebody wanna make a motion?
Well, I'd make the motion for, effective March 1st to increase the runs from 15:30 to 16:30, to increase the 5 officers' pay $75 per officer, and to have an increase from 24 hours per week to 28 hours a week, with the wages from $9.38 to $12.50, contingent on the chief watching his budget quarterly, reviewing it.
Support.
Zucastabio,
Yes.
Martyr,
Yes.
Parker absent, Schneider,
Yes.
Stoops,
Yes.
Wilson,
No,
Zucasar.
Yes.
I got Zucastabio, Martyr, Schneider, Stoops, and Zucasar, yes. Wilson, no, so motion carried.
Thank you.
Got a
Thank you.
big thing.
Okay, here we go, Park and Rec. I think everybody knows what's going on here with hiring this band. Did everybody have any questions about it for Dave, or? If not, I'll take a motion to spend $500 for Talent by the River.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Martyr,
Yes.
Parker absent, Schneider,
Yes.
Stoops,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Zucasar,
Yes.
Zucastabio.
Number 2, poverty guidelines for 2016. As Jamie explained, this is basically the number multiplied by 1.5, is that what you said?
Yes.
The federal guidelines for people down here. This is just something that we just have to do. Does anybody have any questions?
Is that like applied for taxes purposes too?
For people who qualify, it can help to reduce their tax burden. The poverty program is designed for people that do not have the ability to contribute towards the public function of taxation. So they don't have the ability to contribute to pay the tax bill. And under those circumstances, the Board of Review can consider this. Our policy adopted last year, as we've changed it, is 1.5 times the federal poverty level. That is also consistent with a number of other communities in Macomb County. So, this is just an update of those, the rates given by the federal government.
Can I get a motion?
I make a motion that we adopt the poverty guidelines for the 2016 as stated in the main.
Support.
Parker absent, Schneider,
Yes.
Stoops,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Zucasar,
Yes.
Zucastabio,
Yes.
Martyr.
Yes.
Okay, well, I signed a letter today for the fire department for St. Clair County to dispatch all calls for the city of Memphis. So that's been taken care of. And I just want to update everybody that I spoke to our representative from Macomb County Sheriff's Department, and he seems to think that by the end of next week, we should have our candidates, and we can start scheduling our interviews.
That'd be great.
That's all I have.
Nothing for me?
I talked to Dave Foster. I wasn't gonna mention this because it keeps going on and on. But I guess I'll pass it on to you. The date I have is March the 8th, so, opening that gas station. So, it's only been since 2000, so, why rush?
Would that be like the gas and the store, or just the store?
Both. And you won't have an official opening, you'll just be open.
And then probably the doghouse be soon after.
When did you say it's gonna be open?
March the 8th, 2016.
Because I hit his wall today.
Pardon?
I hit his wall today.
You did.
Well, now we all know.
Hello.
You admitted it too. How bad?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it bad?
The short one, the 2-foot one I hit.
Oh,
I saw everything else.
Robbie?
no, I have nothing.
Scott?
Another.
Okay.
Oh, they don't.
Bill, did you have anything?
Nothing.
I just want to mention that on Saturday, at the American Legion, they're having a fundraiser for the
Oh, the,
Doghouse Tavern. Yep.
what time?
I believe it starts at 6, but they're not quoting me on that. 6.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, they'll be over there in the evening, no matter what. And can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. You may have your glasses back. You help me out.
Thank you.